Hello, in this video we're going to be converting a Clover menu into Pointless. So we've got all the items here. This is a small, simple bar menu. Now, normally I would expect that you could export out the menu and then you could import it after you configure some of the features. Well, the export feature is not working for some reason. So instead we use the print, and we print it to a PDF. And so we got a PDF file like this, and it lists out the item name and the price and the category. That's kind of hard to use for the system. So the next step we did, we used ChatGPT to create a CSV file out of the PDF. Now we have the CSV. Here's the CSV. Now we did do a little cleanup. It didn't do the export from PDF perfectly, but this is much easier than typing in things. We got the name, the price, they don't use a cost, and the category. Those are the real things that we needed. And we had a little bit of cleanup. We still need to do a little bit more here, where these were the modifiers, so the PDF didn't copy everything perfect. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that during this section. What we really cared about here is we just wanted to get the item names in the category and the price. Now they do have some items that are seemingly duplicate, but they are slightly different. And we're just going to have to work with that once we do the import. Over in Pointless, we're going to go to Settings, and this is for the import of that list. Here we have a section here where we can import data. When we select products, it will give us an example schema of a CSV file, and that looks like this. And what we need to do for our CSV file that we want to import is make sure that we have matching headers that match the column names of what we're importing. So we want retail name and category name. That's all we need. So over here, we've named category name, retail, and name. And we're just going to ignore cost and this last column, as we don't use it that way. Then we locate our file. Then we press import. We get a little notification. Once it's done importing, we can just go to catalog, and we'll have our items in there. The types are going to be generic for the item types, since we didn't do anything with that. We have the retail price, which we'll need to adjust. Say, for example, if we want to use VAT pricing, we're going to change these to flat prices that we know are going to work properly. So this is something we might need to just go through and type out. I don't know actually what their prices would be, but this would be the example of what we're talking about. Now that we have our items configured in the list, we've imported, we can work on the pricing and some of the features about the items later. We're going to look at this sort of layout. This is unoptimized. The items are listed out just by their category, but it's not the most convenient way for the bartenders to get to all these items. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the catalog schedule, and we can create lots of different types of things from the catalog schedule. In this case, we're going to create a menu list. We don't have anything in here right now. We're going to press add item. That's going to take us to the creation of a menu list that we're going to do, and we're just going to name it. Hit save. We're going to go over to menu item selection, and we're going to choose the bourbon category. We're going to press sync results. We'll save this. And then we could just sort this once, and it will set all these numbers in order. We have coolers. So we'll enable, we'll choose menus list, save. Now, since the selection is pretty straightforward on what we have to do for these menus, I'm just going to speed up this process and we go through each category and assign it. You don't have to set the items to exactly what the matching category is. It just happens in this case that's what we want to do. Okay, now we've taken all of the categories that we saw and we put them into our list here. You might ask, well, why do you do that? That seems like duplication of work. Well, this allows us a lot more flexibility. We can sort the items much easier from this list here by dragging and sorting them. And we can also apply the same item in multiple different sections if we want to. Another approach should just be to show you what this means. It also allows us to be very flexible in how we present the menu. So here we have just kind of a starter section here where we have these different menus sections laid out, and this will work for a customer. If they also use a mobile device, it will work great. We'll switch over to a mobile view. And so you can see this works great on a mobile phone. And then for staff, we can have a different layout for these two things. In fact, we can even remove these headers if we don't need them. So they are pretty compact, and if it's helpful for your staff, you can leave them, or if you find that your menu doesn't really need them, you can just dismiss them under the settings. So we're going to go back to our menu that we're working on and look at how this plays out. Under catalog, we go to custom menus, and this is going to allow us to organize those menus we set up. I've already entered in these. Sorry about that. I skipped you on this. So we just enter in the name of the section that we want to do. And here you just drag these over and put them in the section here. So we're going to first try out to see if this looks okay. There's a couple of options here. We used interactive, enabled, staff menu, condensed menu, and show titles in the condensed menu, kind of like what I was just showing you on the screen from the other example menu. I went ahead and did that for the different sections. Here we'll go ahead and put equipment, rentals, miscellaneous. I think that's all we needed in here. We're also going to have to do beer. So let's go ahead and add beer. And that would be under domestic and premium. Right. There we go. Okay, now we have our menus. The next thing we're going to do is look at the prompts, the modifier groups. And this is going to be something more manual because this is not something we can just import, but all these items are imported into the system. And we just want to make sure that we can go through and select each section and see what we need to do. Now, the systems aren't exactly the same, so the options might be different, and we just have to see what we need to choose. So they have a minimum and maximum, and they have some options there. We're just going to be like addressing this more individual thing at a time. So something like mixers was a very popular thing that they had. They used a lot of, and then they also used double. So they applied double and mixers to a lot of items. Okay, so it looks like double would probably equal 4. And then you can attach these items, and then but it would add $4 on there. So to begin with, we go to prompts and kits, and those pages are what we see here. We do have a prompt group, so ours works a little bit differently. We'd assign something a group like mixers, double. We'll call it double and mixers. That will show up, and we might have something just called double. Okay, now we will go for the pages, and that in this case it's going to be very similar to what we saw earlier. So we can start with mixers and minimum quantity, and maybe you could have more than one. We'll see what we have there, and we'll just choose one for the move on next quantity. And now we're going to go assign the mixers, and here is where we look up those items. So I'm going to just start typing in these items. I'm just going to do a couple examples here, and then we'll see the results when I'm done here. So assign that. I believe they're probably from the soft drink category. If I know I select this, I can just go ahead and assign these all out. And then go back. And now I can do the double. I did notice that I had put in 1 as a minimum quantity. We can just get rid of that. We don't need a minimum quantity. And they actually have a maximum quantity, so we can just leave it at the way that they will have it. So here at the catalog is where we'd assign these prompts, and we've got the bourbon assigned here. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to really worry about whether or not they chose bourbon or mixer. I'm not going to really worry whether they chose mixers or doubles. I'm just going to apply that same style of prompt to all of these items. So I'll hit edit selected, and then I'm going to scroll down to prompt group and just type in select the doubles and mixers, and I'm going to hit update, and that'll just apply to all the items. Once we have these pages set up, what we need to do is just do associations. So here the double just goes with double, and the double mixers and then this will just get mixers. Okay, now we're over in the menu, and we're going to go to, now we'll do a Smirnoff Ice. We're prompted for double. We can then choose a modifier, and this is the result we get. In our next video, we'll cover VAT tax, the colors of the button, the placement of the name and the price, and both of their font sizes.